5 hours of sleep.
I need to tell my husband
that he needs to get his ass up in the mornings. That's why I
he
told
doesn't
him.
have to sleep in.
I told him when I found this out, I said, I need you to read this. This is scientific proof. They've done studies on this, people. Real studies. You can find the study results. You can read them if you are into interpreting that kind of crap. I hate doing interpretations of studies. So it's my least favorite thing I could ever do. How I got through stats class, I don't even know. But, just so you know, actual study, proven fact, women need more sleep. Which I kind of...
Fun.
I like it, because then I can sleep and be like, I'm sorry, I can't get up with the children. I have to get my beauty rest. Which maybe that's where beauty rest comes from.
Yeah.
Maybe we feel more beautiful after 8 hours of sleep. I don't know. When they says I'm going to have to get 8 hours of sleep so I can see if I feel more beautiful afterwards.
I think that's a nice way of saying you're cranky and you go take a nap.
Maybe so.
Go get your beauty rest.
Oh, yeah. That is nice to be like, you're being a bitch. Can you just leave the room? Bam. Bam. How about menopause equals no sex drive? True or false?
I mean, I don't know.
So
most of that generation doesn't want to talk about that.
So they don't talk about sex, right? Older generation, sex is taboo to talk about. Not that they're not doing it, because they're totally doing it, FYI. If you were wondering, they do. But there's like, I've heard this, like once you hit menopause, you're not going to want to have sex anymore. Right? And that's like where the men are like, I have to go discover myself. My wife doesn't want me, right? Like they go find the younger women, right? Like it's a whole like trend in movies and things. And it's because women are suffering menopausal symptoms. And while they're suffering that particular symptom, they may not want to be sexually active. It's kind of like when you're on antibiotics and you are shitting yourself and you don't feel like having sex. Same thing with menopause. If you're having hot flashes and you're having body aches, do you think you're going to want to have sex?
Probably not.
Absolutely not. But it does not mean after that hot flash passes that you're not going to want to go jump your man.
I mean, yeah, okay.
So, that one is false. Old people are still doing the deed, in case you're wondering. Menopause does not stop sex. Which is kind of nice, because then we know we're not going to be like old dry bags that want to do nothing.
I mean, I've heard stories of rest homes getting a little frisky at night.
Well, do you know it's more common to catch STDs at a nursing home than it is for most places, because they're all sleeping with each other? Yeah. That fun? That's a fun fact.
That's an interesting fact. I don't know if I want to know that fact.
That's a fun fact. I learned that on a TV show. I'm pretty sure it's true.
During our little mid-debunking.
Spin that out there. But it is actually a thing where old people are literally having sex with each other in nursing homes, and they do pass STDs between each other. So that is a thing.
That's how STDs happen. STIs now.
Oh, yeah. You
They're not called STDs. They're called STIs.
Do you know, fun fact, when we sent out our Save the Dates, because we watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Where is this going?
We sent out STDs.
Oh.
To everybody, and then we asked them, did you get our STD in the mail? And everybody goes, you're what? And we're like, your Save the Date. The cool kids are calling them.
That's what we're calling them now.
And they were like, that's not a thing. You cannot call them that. And I was like,
and they're STIs.
But then it doesn't go with STDs for Save the Dates.
I get it.
So what am I supposed to do with an STI?
Go to the doctor?
Well, if you got one, I guess so. What does it mean, like a sexually transmitted infection, right?
Yep.
Because we can't call them a disease. Because they're treatable?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Diseases are treatable?
Well, see, that was my thought process.
Where are we going with this?
I don't know. I give up. I give up. That you can't get pregnant on your period.
Well,
true or false?
I went to natural family planning to learn how to naturally plan your pregnancy based on the discharge. If you'll have problems with like words like moist and discharge, here we go.
This should be fun.
But I remember when we were talking about the period, the sperm can live in there for like 5 days or something like that. Crazy.
Yep.
And then, so while you're on your period, it's like the first few days there you could have a baby, and then a few days later is another higher chance of you having a baby because that's when you're ovulating.
Yep.
I don't
absolutely
remember everything.
true. But that's absolutely true. You can totally get knocked up on your period. Women think that, oh, my period means my egg is leaving my body, and so I am not sexually available for a baby at this time. Wrong. And yeah, I read the same thing, that a sperm can live into your body for anywhere from 5 days to like over a week, because they just need a warm, wet environment. They don't require much. Yeah, moist. They like it moist and warm. Your vagina is a good place to hang out.
Oh my goodness.
So, you can totally get knocked up on your period. So do not think that that is a foolproof method. My doctor also had a comment about that natural birth control, but I won't go there. So, heartburn during pregnancy. That equals your baby is going to have a head full of hair.
I don't know.
They say that's false. They say that most women have heartburn.
But I've definitely heard that.
All my children had head full of hairs, and I had heartburn the entire time. But you didn't. And your baby came out with hair, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like...
I mean, was it a full head of hair? I mean, it was fine.
My daughter's, you could have put cornrows in it. Hers was so long. My youngest, he had hair, but it wasn't luscious locks like hers was. And hers, I definitely felt like I was gonna, my heart was gonna explode from all the heartburn and indigestion. But they're saying actually it's pretty normal for women in general to have heartburn and indigestion because your stomach is being compressed. And so it causes all those juices in your stomach to come back up through your intestines into your esophagus and all that fun things. So you get heartburn. So,
whatever. Maybe.
I heard one that somebody told me that they cannot take a bath because they were pregnant.
So, I heard not to get into hot of baths while pregnant.
Right? Because you don't want to cook your baby.
I do remember them telling me that. And what are they? Hot tubs.
Yes, you can't do hot tubs because people are like, well, it's bacteria. Not really. It has to do with your body temperature and what is an ideal temperature for your baby, because you're essentially roasting yourself in a hot tub. You're like a roast in a hot tub, and your baby is the roast inside the roasting of the hot tub, because they're already in a warmer environment.
The roast inside of the roast pan. You're the roast pan.
They're like a turducken.
Oh.
I know it's the best image I could come up with.
Image? Don't
hate on me.
Why did it have to be an image?
Because in my mind, everything is imagery.
But
I see everything in vivid imagery. It's imagery. A turducken.
Okay.
A turducken. So, obviously, you don't want to get in a hot tub because you don't want to cook your baby like a turducken. But, can you take a bath while you were pregnant? Absolutely. Most women were like, oh, it has to do with bacteria and stuff getting to the baby. False. Your baby is completely sealed inside your uterus, inside the womb, and there's like a plug, and there's all kinds of stuff. So chances of, unless you just have a dirty, dirty, dirty bathtub, chances of you passing something like that are like minuscule. Like it's not really a thing.
You could have an infection,
but it doesn't have to
but it's
do
so
with the
uncommon.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do with a bathtub. So you can totally take a bath. They do recommend you don't take hot soaking baths, but soaking baths in general is actually really good
circulation
for your circulation. Swimming in a pool is really good while you're pregnant because it helps relieve the pressure off of your joints. That's the only time I ever got in a pool. I hate swimming, but I got in a pool when I was pregnant because it felt so good.
I don't like water on my face.
I don't either.
That's a sensory thing.
But I don't like being in a pool. I don't mind soaking in a tub with some bubbles and a glass of wine. I'm down for that. Apparently, I like that. That's the extent of what I like in water.
It's controlled.
It's a very controlled environment, and it's got candles, and it smells lovely. I don't like pools. But you can swim while you're pregnant, just so you know, and it feels very good. So, on that note, I had a chiropractor that I saw even while I was pregnant. I see this chiropractor every couple of months. I love a hands-on adjustment. Like, I want him to put his hands on me, and I want him to adjust me. Like, I love it. It makes me feel so much better.
I went to a chiropractor when I was pregnant because I had a lot of stress in my lower back.
Mm-hmm. So seeing a chiropractor and a masseuse while you were pregnant can really help with all the joint issues and hip issues that can occur. So this chiropractor, I'm seeing this guy, and I told him, hey, by the way, I'm like 3 or 4 months pregnant at the time. And I said, hey, I'm pregnant. And so when I went in, because at this chiropractor's office, you can see the chiropractor and the massage therapist at the same time. So you get adjusted, and then you go see the masseuse. And I go see the masseuse, and I go lay down on the table, and the doctor walks in. He goes, hey, by the way, she's pregnant. No massaging below the knees. And I went, what? And
what
he goes,
does that mean?
I've never heard this. And he goes, I hate to be that person. He goes, but it's like an old Chinese, like, wives' tale type thing where belief that if you massage below the knees and increasing that circulation in the feet and ankles can cause miscarriage or an early birth. He goes, I just rather not risk it and that be on me. He goes, so can we just not massage below the knees? And so the massage therapist, of course, he did an amazing job. And he worked my shoulders and my lower back, which is what I always go in for. But he did not touch my legs. He was like, nope, taking it to heart.
Anywhere near that.
Nowhere near that. And so, but I thought that was funny because here I have a medical professional being like, I don't know if it's true. There's no, like, I don't have any proof. But let's just not do it.
But let's just not do that.
Let's just not do that. So I thought that was kind of funny. Can you have sex while you're pregnant?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Your hormones, I don't know how to say this.
So,
yeah.
So a lot of people I'm hearing that say that if you have sex while you're pregnant, it can hurt the baby. So again, the baby is in a uterus. It's like its own little purse inside the mom. So it's a turducken.
And in an amniotic sac.
He's in so many things. Like, he is completely encased. You cannot reach in and poke him. Your husband's penis will not poke the baby. I don't know. I've heard all kinds of things that they're worried that the baby's going to get poked. Or that the baby will grab the penis. I've heard that one. Somebody told me that, and I said, are you smoking something?
I think that person has anxiety.
Obviously. They cannot do that. They cannot reach through that little sac. That's why when your water breaks, all this little fluid, because the baby's living in a bubble inside its mommy. And when the bubble breaks, then yes, then it could come through. But you should not be having sex once that happens. Just want to be clear on that.
So there was so I did not watch Teen Mom very much, but a friend of mine did. And one episode that I just so happened to be present for was they were filming down a hallway at like an apartment complex at a door. And all you hear is, oh goodness, oh, we gotta go. And then they're like, run out the door and they're like, well, we were doing the business to try and increase the likelihood of labor, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently they were doing the deed.
Yeah, so you can totally have sex while pregnant. Actually, babies like it because orgasms radiate through the mom's, the uterus and stuff, and so it tickles the baby. It's a fun fact.
I don't think I wanted to know that one.
Babies love it when moms orgasm because it tickles them. So that's a fun fact. So while we're on the note of labor-inducing myths, I read todaysparent.com. They published an article, and it's called 9 Old Wives' Tales for Inducing Labor. So sex is one of them. Yes, sex can induce labor because, again, the contractions stimulate the uterus. Your orgasms stimulate the uterus, causing contractions. There's the words I needed. And so it's totally normal for sex to induce labor. So if you are a high-risk pregnancy, they actually recommend not having sex because of it causing inducing labor. Yeah, so that's scientific. You can have sex up until the water breaks, or if you notice bleeding during intercourse, because those are not, A, if the water breaks, that means the baby's coming, and B, if there's bleeding, it can mean that there's complications or something else, and you don't want to, or it could mean your water's going to break, and you definitely don't want that all over your bed. So, you're welcome. This one was new. I hadn't heard of this one before. Nipple stimulation.
Huh.
Okay, I haven't heard of this one for inducing labor. They said gently rolling, rubbing, and massaging the areolas for an hour 3 times a day is said to trigger oxytocin and lead to uterine contractions. Because it's